guys, welcome to Lady Shuna. I am a new Tensura channel. In this video we will continue the chapter 1, of volume 19, of Tensura light novel. If you haven't watched the previous video, please feel free to visit my channel. The links can also be found in the description below. If you like this kind of content, then please consider leaving a like, and subscribe to the channel. All media used in this video are used in the purpose of entertainment and education, under the terms of fair use. All clips, images and music belongs to their respective owners. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
If it weren't for Dino, the postponement of the response might have been worse. Rimuru intrinsically wished that Guy would try consider that fact.
Ah, that's right. That ring was made by Velzard, so she could easily sabotage it. Sorry, I forgot about that.
After Guy openly said that, Rimuru had nothing to reply, so he just suggested that both of them should be held personally responsible for what happened, and despite Rimuru still not being clear on few things, he chose not to argue any further, and handle the situation like how an adult is supposed to do. Rimuru added that it would be a problem if there'd be conflict between them, because they're on the same side, thus it would be better if they'd stop fighting. Thankfully, they both agreed, so that's what they did. Rimuru stared at Rain and Misery, the two primordials under Guy. He then asked,
"So, why are these people sitting on the floor?"
The floor was made of marbles, since Leon's entire castle was made up of stone. Sitting upright even on tatami mats was already difficult to do, so Misery and Rain, sitting upright on the floor in such a place is definitely a chore. But for some reason, they had been forced to sit on the floor the moment they were called into the room.
Oh, those guys. Do you want to hear about it?
The moment Guy asked Rimuru that question, Rimuru felt troubled, and had no interest of getting involved anymore, since Guy's eyes were kind of scary.
"Oh, I'm not interested in."
Actually, these two dumbasses were having fun drinking while we were all fighting desperately. I'm also a little pissed off, so I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Rimuru wasn't interested in hearing about it, but it seems that Guy just wanted to complain. Rimuru started wondering if the two primordials seriously did that, so he asked Rain and the other instead of Guy. Rain instantly appealed to him with tears in her eyes, while Misery remained distant and quiet.
"No, it's not. It's a tragic misunderstanding, Rimuru-sama."
As soon as he heard that answer, Rimuru understood that it was not a misunderstanding.
Okay, we don't have much time anyway, so let's just hurry and exchange information.
Rimuru jumped in at Guy's words, and they left Rain crying and Misery looking like an idiot, and got straight down to business of listening to everyone's opinions in order. Everyone seemed to be silent on the matter except Diablo, who didn't want to interfere and just shook his head in disgust. The report went smoothly even with a tangent, which was the exchange between Khan and Masora when they reported. When it was finally Khan and Oxian's turn, they stood up, and the former bowed to Guy to relay his wish.
"Under normal circumstances, I understand that it would be an unforgivable sin to speak to our master, the Red King Rouge. However, I beg of you to listen to me."
His sincerity could be felt, so Guy allowed him to speak, and Khan requested him to forgive Misery's iniquity and Rimuru agreed with him. Misery had been sitting upright on the floor for the entire discussion, and although she was probably okay because she was a demon, Rimuru still thought when it would be time to let her go. Instead of Guy, Misery was the one who became enraged. She attempted to reprimand Khan with great force, even while she was still sitting on the floor, but Guy stopped her.
Now, hold on a minute. You've grown up, Khan, for being able to talk to me. Fine then. For that, I'll let Misery off the hook this time.
Guy forgave Misery, staying true to his word, and ordered everyone to have a drink. Then came a new problem. As you guys can imagine, after Guy forgave Misery, Rain was still sitting on the floor. So, when it was Masora's turn to stand up and speak, she requested for her master Rain to be released as well. But Guy wouldn't allow it. Rimuru, being capable at reading the atmosphere, could tell that Guy was truly annoyed, and it didn't seem because of a petty reason, such as it being the second version. Masora noticed it too, so when Guy said no, she quickly backed off. Rimuru came to realize that Masora was a very capable person, since for him, knowing when to back off was a sign of competence. But Rain, who couldn't read the atmosphere, and possesses the unconstrained self-indulging trait of the youngest child, went.
"Why is that, Miss Orel? Why do you give up so easily when you're so much better than Kant? You have to try harder to help me. Why am I the only one sitting on the floor while Misery is freed? I don't get it."
And on she went.
"Please give up. If you continue committing more crimes."
Masora told Rain as she admonished her. When Rain calmed down after she was told that much, glanced at Guy, and was able to finally grasp and understand that she was in a bad position.
You should be a little more sincerely sorry, you know. Do you understand what you did wrong in the first place?
Rain tilted her head with a blank expression when Guy asked her about it. It was cute, but Rimuru, having seen her true nature, feels nothing but annoyance. Guy spoke to Rain with a deeply tired expression, telling her that he doesn't have the time for the current drama, because he'd be the one in trouble if he let Rain get away with her misdeeds. Guy also asked Rain how she was able to get those expensive and rare empty bottles of liquor lying around the igloo. That's because Rain doesn't look like she stole them, so he was starting to assume it was through mugging one of her subordinates again. While Rimuru was contemplating about Rain definitely being a bad child, if she really did the things Guy mentioned, and was also trying to figure out the answer as to why a demon like Rain would mug someone, because even without committing such petty crimes, she didn't seem to have any money troubles. Misora interrupted him.
May I be allowed to speak?
You may.
Guy gave her permission. So Misora started defending Rain by saying that even though her lord was not that clever, at the very least, she is someone who does things for a reason. She also pointed out that it wasn't money which Rain greatly needed. And Guy responded with subtle, remark. Because of this, Rimuru thought that Guy was surprisingly decent, since although he didn't listen to Rain's words, he was taking Misora's plea seriously.
Now, that should be enough of that, correct? We are in the middle of an important conversation about the future, and Rain's punishment is insignificant.
Diablo interjected in the conversation, took Rain by the shoulders. Rimuru's gut was telling him to be suspicious, and Guy seemed to agree with it, since what just happened was shockingly unnatural, that not only him, but also Guy, was staring at Diablo.
I can still believe in Diablo after all.
As if she was so impressed, Rain's eyes were sparkling as she spoke.
Diablo, it's not good to keep secrets, okay?
Kufu. Rimuru-sama, I would never hide anything from Rimuru-sama. However, that person seems so pitiful that I felt that I should offer a little help.
Funny enough to Rimuru, he almost said, no, you don't have that kind of personality out loud, but he held himself back, and instead, just stared at him because he thought it was very effective in such situations. Rimuru assumed Diablo was a demon with a weak mind, and surprisingly, it turned out to be true, as soon enough, Diablo's eyes began to waver, immediately became flustered and told the truth.
No, that fine liquor was actually a gift from me to Rain.
Huh?
That's crazy. No matter how much of an agreement you two came to, why would you give Rain something when you've been in conflict until not too long ago?
Guy was right. However, Rimuru then knew the reason why Diablo confessed so easily. Diablo knew that Rimuru could quickly determine the distribution route as long as they had the finished liquor bottle as physical evidence, plus Sue was here as well, so he must have decided that it would be impossible to keep quiet about it. That was all good and manageable for Diablo, but the real problem was the relationship with the culprit, Rain. So while Guy and Diablo were quarreling, Rimuru commanded Sue just by a look. Sue understood what his master was asking for, and promptly secured the evidence. Rimuru saw empty bottles of magic black rice amazake, traditional Japanese sake, black rice refined sake, and many other products, all of which had increasingly higher alcohol content, which were all only available in Jura Tempest, so even if it wasn't Sue who was investigating, one could easily identify the culprit.
You mentioned that you were having a drink earlier. Did you actually drink this much?
That's right. It's only natural that I was mad, right? You have to do something about them, Rimuru.
Well, of course that would make someone angry.
Are you kidding me? Everyone else is working, and we're the only ones.
Rimuru ended up feeling sorry for Guy, and was actually surprised that Guy was so forgiving, only making them sit upright on the floor. And yet, Rain was making excuses. She's arguing that what she did, drinking liquors while the others were working, was a necessary item for advanced psychological warfare. She justified that she went through a lot of trouble to acquire these items, so that Pico and Gracia would speak up. As a matter of fact, Rain even think that she deserved a pat on the back. Rimuru couldn't help but be amazed at Rain, that he thought to himself, Rimuru, this kid is incredible. Even in this situation, she was insisting that it was all her own achievements, until came to a consensus with himself, that maybe it's because Rain was a primordial demon after all, so her mental strength was no joke. Similar to Rain, Diablo also seemed to adhere to the theory that as long as you didn't admit defeat, you hadn't lost. So, Rimuru thought that at some point that those two were similar at heart.